April is a period of transition here in Wyoming. We get a lot of teases of spring coming on, beautiful mornings, lots of birds singing in the meadow across from the roastery, and the faintest hints of our spring snow blossom tree starting to show itself for the year. But with this period of transition, we also inevitably get a spring snowstorm, and I think one's coming in the next couple of days. I speak about transition today because coffee is also quite transitory. It's a fleeting experience that we get to enjoy just in a few minutes at a time before we have to say goodbye to it and welcome another experience, another taste, another flavor. And as a roaster, we explore familiar faces, but we're always on the lookout for new faces as well. And I'm pleased to present this month two very familiar faces if you are a fan of H&S, and two completely new producers to us that have created excellent coffees. So with that in mind, let's get started. So first up this month, we have from Ecuador. This is Divino, Niño, and this is a new to us farm from a new to us producer. This is Gabriel Chamba, and this is a washed Mesurado. Mesurado, probably the most famous Ecuadorian variety. Certainly something that we see quite often from Ecuador, and the way that it's grown and treated in Ecuador presents just beautiful sweetness all throughout the cup. It ties into everything that you sip in the cup. And that is certainly showing with this cup this morning. So Gabriel has put a little bit of a spin on a traditional wash process for this coffee. This includes a held and cherry step and a little bit of an extra fermentation on the lot. That really boosts up the tartness in the cup, and I think complements the overall heavily sweet character of the Mesurado. And with the notes that we have listed here, red grape, pixie sticks, and lily, I think that's really emphasized in the notes that are listed on the bag. The sweetness, as opposed to the arashi that we dropped last month, is definitely more tart. And so pixie sticks has a lot of acidity and a lot of tartness to the flavor of that candy. And I think it's a really nice note to represent what's going on in this cup. Tartaric acidity up front. I'm a huge fan of anything grape, anything that shows up in a cup that's grape or phosphoric. I'm definitely drawn to it. So this is a real surprise for the month. I certainly thought arashi was the clear leader of the wash Mesurados coming out of Ecuador this year. We still have La Papaya to get to as well, folks, but this is really showing a beautiful, beautiful cup today. Beautiful, balanced, sweet, floral finish. Excellent cup. Big fan. New to us producer. This is certainly a producer we're going to keep paying attention to. We're going to be looking for again next season. Absolutely. And if you're a Roaster's Choice subscriber, this is the first bag for the month. All right, let's move on. Another new to us producer. And a new to us farm, shrouded in mystery. This is Dulce Misterio. And the producer for this, also new to us, is Mauricio Duque. And Mauricio comes to coffee production from an exporting history. So he's worked in coffee for a very, very long time as an exporter. And he found this farm back in 2022 and purchased it. A big basis for Mauricio purchasing this farm came from a lot of his analytical work. He did a lot of soil analysis in the region, looking for the best type of soils that were producing the highest scoring competition lots from this region. And that sort of mindset really shows in this cup. This is an excellently processed coffee. Before I get too much further into that, this is a washed pink bourbon. And this is coming from Caldas, which is a little bit of an unfamiliar region for me. And the farm, Dulce Misterio, stands for sweet mystery. And indeed, this cup is so beautifully sweet and a perfect example of a high quality, well-processed pink bourbon. It's so juicy, it's so sweet, it's so jammy, it has a wonderful intensity. I'm really, really blown away by this cup and by the work that was put in to process this. So I touched on it lightly. Mauricio put a lot of work into finding the perfect place for him to start a farm, really being rigorous in his approach, and that follows through with the processing on this coffee. So he's very analytical and he's very empirical with data collection and ensuring that every step of the way in his processing is producing exactly what he wants out of it. And we can relate to that here at H&S as we do a lot of work behind the scenes before a coffee ever hits production. We're taking a lot of measurements, we're doing a lot of analysis and trying to approach things empirically, objectively, as we can, as is possible with coffee, to pick out and present the coffee exactly as we want it to. And this coffee just really, really shines. It's remarkably clean, excellent intensity, great sweetness, just an absolutely beautiful pink bourbon. And the notes for this one are peach, green apple, and pink lemonade. Pink lemonade, pretty emblematic of a pink bourbon, and the peach and green apple representing a lot of just really nice juicy notes in the cup. The green apple is clean, it's a little sharp, it's a little bit tart, but the sweetness and intensity is what really is pushing this coffee. Beautiful. I'm getting a little bit of jasmine in the finish on this one as well this morning, I think with the rest and with the recipe that I've used. So with this coffee, Dulce Misterio, this is a name you are definitely going to hear in the future. If you see this coffee from your favorite roaster, I would definitely pay attention to it. This is 100% going to be a farm and a producer that we're going to revisit in the future. Absolutely stellar work. And Roaster's Choice subscribers, this is your bag number 2 this month. Okay, so those are the new faces for H&S for the month. We've also got 2 familiar faces that we've dropped and 2 sensational coffees also on the queue. And this isn't it this month. We actually dropped 3 more coffees on top of this, and I may make a video for that as well. We'll see how that goes. Now it's time to talk about 2 familiar faces, 2 H&S, and we'll start with this beautiful Ecuador washed Sidra, and this is La Reserva. La Reserva is a farm that we have offered a few seasons now. We had 2 lots from them last year, and They were quite good, very interesting coffees. The natural Mesurado from them was probably one of my sleeper hits of the year. I think it presented just a fascinating flavor profile, very floral and very Fruit Loopsy. This year we've got a washed Sidra from them, and this is a very full and broad coffee. It's got a very wide range of flavor to it. Really hits the palate on all areas and provides just a very big, kind of thick and more coating experience compared to our first two coffees today. I read a lot of interesting talk about Sidras, and to be honest, I don't get a lot of it. Sidras offer a unique flavor profile if we're comparing to a Mesurado or a Geisha from Ecuador. But some of the talk that I hear about them tasting like onions, I can't say I've really ever experienced that myself. And in this cup, with those voices in the back of my head, I'm trying to relate to what folks say about Sidras, and I'm not really getting it. This is a very tropical, very punchy, syrupy coating coffee. A lot of dark fruits, a lot of jamminess to it, velvety, rich, and coating. And the notes we have on here, plum, pomegranate, cherry, dark fruits, a little tartness to it, nothing like what we've got over here, but just little hints, little pecks of tartness, punching through these mostly very dark, heavy, sweet, coating fruits. A little bit of punch there. This morning I'm tasting a little bit sort of like a fruit punch, but you know, if you're reading these notes, that makes a lot of sense. Good tropical sense to it. When I move from these two over to this, and a little bit has to do with the recipe on this one today, it's definitely a heavier cup. So very rich in coating, again, nice and full, broad, beautiful washed Sidra. Beautiful. Last but not least, a name that is very familiar here at H&S Coffee. This is El Diviso. El Diviso. Nestor Lasso is a bit of a magician when it comes to processing coffee. Smelling the green on this coffee and then smelling the dry fragrance of the roasted bean, smelling the aroma of the bloom, and then finally tasting the coffee. Every single one of these experiences has given me something completely different. It's really remarkable the way in which Nestor is transforming coffee into tastes and experiences that never existed in coffee just a few years ago. So this is one of Nestor's dramatic processes. This is technically a washed geisha, but there is a laundry list of steps that Nestor has gone through on this coffee that finishes with a washed. I may put that on the screen here. If there's room to fit it all in, we'll try and squeeze that on. But a unique and baffling and befuddling coffee here. I really struggled with this one because it is a geisha and because of the washed basis of this coffee. There's a lot of complexity and there is some florality to explore, but then there's Nestor's trademark wizardry that he's putting into the coffee that is spinning everything around. And it took me a really long time, it took me probably a couple of months to actually figure out that what I believe I'm tasting on this coffee is mint. Took a long time to land on mint. And I think since I figured that out, I definitely can taste it in this cup. And the notes that we have listed on here, as good as I can get them: kiwi, mint, and tamarind miso. We'll touch on that in a second. Kiwi, there's a lot of tartness to the drop this month, and I think this is also showing a little bit of tartness, a little bit of lemon limeness, a little bit of Sprite to it. Nothing like the Arashi from last month in terms of Spriteness. Moving into this mint character, and then into, I would say, tamarind, certainly, and this miso note on here sort of picks up in the finish. It's not huge, and it's not super present. With past El Diviso releases that we've dropped, that impression, that finishing impression of the coffee was really quite obvious. If we said it was balsamic, that was really obvious. With this one, with the miso note, I don't think it's as obvious. I think it's subdued and it's subtle, but there is just something in there, something in the finish that is a little bit vexing. It's a little bit savory. And so I think the tamarind miso, kind of combining those together, kind of gives a pretty good impression. It's a little bit tart, it's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit floral, and a little bit savory. I mean, I don't know what to say. In any case, it's a very fun coffee. In terms of El Divisos, I don't think this is as headstrong with the funk factor. I think we put funk level 3 on here because we need to represent that interestingness in the finish, but I think overall, being one, a washed basis, and two, being a geisha, that this coffee is not as heavy hitting on the process itself. It's in there, but it also offers a ton of complex, interesting tropical fruits up front, and this very interesting mintiness in the middle. I do think it's a clean cup, but if you're going to put mint, you're going to put tamarind, and you're going to put miso on a bag, you gotta put a funk warning on there, I guess. Wild. It's just so unique. Presents flavors that you may never have encountered in combination before in a coffee. It's an experience 100% all the way through. There's just not enough superlatives I can give to Nestor Lasso. Absolutely one of the best that's doing it. And he's creating flavor experiences that we've never encountered before. And in that sense, he is one of the great flavor innovators that we have in the world, anywhere, for doing anything. He's like a chef that's creating just an incredible experience. If you're flavor driven, like I am, these types of coffees, they're just so interesting, and they're so unique, and they offer experiences that I've never had before. I've been doing this for 15 years. And so I guess this ties into some of the talk about, what's real coffee and what is not. And if you're producing something like this, I mean, you're one of the greats, and you should be celebrated. So hats off to Mr. Nestor Lasso and all the producers that are doing just such crazy work, such interesting, unique, and dynamic work that is making what I do here at H&S as a roaster. It's made the last several years just so much fun, exploring these coffees, figuring out how to translate them and roast them and produce something like this. So awesome. These are 4 drops. We dropped 3 other coffees this month, and so that's probably going to be a separate video. We have the Airworks collab, the exclusive, that was Iridescence, that was Lamastus El Burro Lot 17. And then we also dropped the April Mystery Coffee League coffee. So not a whole lot of info I can share on that in a tasting video, but it might be fun to do a little clip on that. So stay tuned. Maybe I'll be able to put another one out here soon. But let's go over rest and recipes. And this is a good month for recipes. So with the Divino Niño washed Mesurado, if you want to push florals on this coffee, extract more, and go with a big ratio like a 118. That's what I did this morning, the Gabby Standard. I think this is a 30-day rest coffee pretty easily. I don't think it needs quite as much rest as last month's Arashi. It's showing its potential a little bit earlier to me. It has a lot to offer. If you want to push florals, you can do that with this coffee. If you want to push the sweetness or the tartness, you can do that with this coffee. It's going to work in a lot of different ways. I was pulling shots yesterday at 10 days off, and they were tasting pretty good. They were tasting a little fresh for espresso at 10 days, but showing a lot of potential with 1.3 turbo. So I think this can go a lot of different ways. It's just going to depend on what you want to get out of it. This morning I brewed it with the Gabby Standard. It is showing a nice clean cup. It's definitely pushing a lot of the florals in the finish, and I would say that tropical Fruit Loop kind of thing with some florals thrown into the finish on this with this recipe. I have brewed it with the Gabby Gentle, and it's definitely pushed more of the tartness and sweetness, and that's been really excellent as well. So a good dynamic one. To sort of repeat myself here with the Dulce Misterio. This morning with the Gabby Standard, big separated flavor, the clean cup, the intensity is there, the acidity is really nice, and a little more of a jasmine green tea sort of sense in the finish on this. I think that a Gabby Gentle type recipe or something that's lowering the extraction yield a little bit might be a little more favorable for this, to really push the intensity and the sweetness in this coffee. I think that might be the preferred way. If you like subtle clarity and florals and tea-like presentation, pushing the extraction like I did this morning with the Gabby Standard definitely works. Very bright, intense this morning on that Gabby Standard. So another coffee I think is pretty dynamic and can go in a lot of different directions depending on what you want to get out of it. All right, La Reserva Sidra, really heavy this morning. I went with the Gabby Gentle recipe on this, and I think that that's a good spot for this coffee. It's got a lot of dark fruits. It's got a lot of coating, sweetness to it, and I think playing into that is probably a good idea. If you push the extraction on this one, you probably could brighten it up and make it more acidic and intense, but I think with the dark fruit notes on here, playing into that might be the best play for this. So lower extraction yields overall, coarser grind, lower ratios, 116, 117, something like that. Seems to be a good spot for this coffee. I wouldn't advise pushing it too hard. Okay, and then El Diviso Geisha, probably again a coffee you can do whatever you want with, and you're going to get something different every single time. You're going to get something interesting and dynamic. This morning I am brewing it with the Gabby Gentle recipe, sort of a middle of the road extraction for it, and it's showing a confounding, weird interestingness. The acidity is really nice. I like the kiwi note on it this morning. The mint is present. It's sweet, it's nice, it's clean, tamarind, definitely. And the savory finish is not as strong this morning with this recipe. So I suppose that's something to keep in mind. If you're pushing extraction yields, you may definitely push a lot more savoriness out of this coffee. So depending on which way you want to go and how you want to explore this coffee, I think there's a lot of possibilities for it. It's hard to mess up a coffee like this when you don't understand it at all, right? I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. Just a befuddling, interesting, amazing coffee. What a month. Really, really cool. New coffees familiar coffees and 3 more behind this one. So great month to be an H&S subscriber. It's a great month to be a fan of H&S. It's a great month to be a fan of coffee. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of uncertainty in the coffee markets, and who knows what the next following months are going to bring. We're trying our best here to navigate through that, and as always, focusing on what we have in front of us and these beautiful experiences is certainly something that helps me get through uncertain times. So with that, I guess we'll say goodbye and enjoy good coffee.